I never really knew that I was eating raw meat when I was growing up eating Lebanese kibbeh in my family. All I knew was that it was the most delicious special dish we could have. Kibbeh Nayeh is so iconic. It's the national dish of Lebanon and it's our favorite. We eat it at all special occasions and the holidays, centerpiece of the table. Kibbeh comes in a really wide variety of styles, and this classic dish is made with raw meat. You might be wondering how it is that we are able to eat this meat raw, and it's basically just so important that the meat gets handled properly. So that means that you can't go to the grocery store and pick ground beef or ground lamb, which is what Kibbeh Nayeh is made with, out of the case already ground. You have to have it specially ground on sterile blades, and it has to be specially trimmed as well. And that would be then sirloin tip or eye of round, and then for lamb, leg of lamb, and those are trimmed to the nines. There is no fat or gristle left in the meat when it's made into kibbeh. My father's father, my jiddo, was a butcher, and so we had it like really put into our brains, absolutely no fat and no gristle in your kibbeh meat. I happen to live in a town where there are a lot of Lebanese here in Michigan, so I'm lucky I can call the butcher and order the meat ready to go. Ask for kibbeh meat, you've got kibbeh meat. But if you're instructing your butcher, you can ask for this meat to be ground on sterile blades first thing in the morning. And usually you're going to order it and make it the same and serve it all in the same day. But if you grind your meat or have it ground and you're not going to make it that day, just put that in the freezer and then you can thaw it in the refrigerator. The ingredients, the meat, the ground meat, and that's ground 3 times so that it's not too mushy, but also is soft enough. Fine bulgur wheat, number 1, just needs to be softened. And the way to soften it is to simply cover it with some cool water and let it sit for about a half an hour, and you will find that you have very soft, fine bulgur wheat. The other ingredient that you want to prep ahead is your onion. Sweet onion is best for kibbeh. I use about a medium-sized onion like this for a couple of pounds of meat. The spices, lots of variations here on the spicing of kibbeh. Some will use mint and fresh or dry mint, and they'll grind that up with the onion. That's very delicious. My family, really simple: salt, pepper, and cinnamon, and that's it. And just love it that way. But then Dan, my husband, who is a great maker of kibbeh, he and his family like to add a little bit of cayenne pepper, and it gets spicy and delicious, and I'm a fan of that. I'm also a really big fan of 7 spice or baharat in the kibbeh, and this has a lot of spices in the blend. This is 7 spice. It even has more than 7 in it. I have a really nice one in my market that you can try out, but I enjoy this a lot. It has a little bit of cumin, a little bit of allspice, and all kinds of other really aromatic flavors. Now I'm adding this to the onion, a couple of tablespoons to that medium-sized onion, pureed, really well pureed, and a little bit of salt, a couple of tablespoons there, because you can disperse it so nicely into the onion, which in turn makes it easier to incorporate into the kibbeh meat when we mix that. I'm just going to put some gloves on for safe handling here. And at our house, it's sort of an honor to get to be the one to mix the kibbeh at the holidays. And I love for Dan to be able to do that because he has so much fun with it. So I'm going to add the onion and spice mixture. And I'm just going to start to add my soaked bulgur to the mix. a handful or so at a time, like that. And then, oh, it feels good, and you mix it together. That's all right. And I'm going to keep adding my bulgur. Another addition to the kibbeh is simply water. And it's ice water, ice cold water, which it just softens the kibbeh nicely and gives the texture something more that we want. And it helps also in the shaping of the kibbeh. Actually, do you want to taste it, Dan? See it.
Well,
see
that's
how
my
it,
pleasure.
Okay. See how it is.
Absolutely. Let's see.
What's it
Just
need?
right. A little more pepper for me.
Now my family, and Dan's too, really, so maybe many others do too, it's more of a mound shaped here really nicely. Get it nice and clean, lines on top, and you can do that with just a little bit of ice water to help smooth it over, and make a cross in the middle with my fingers like this. There we go. A way of blessing the kibbeh, and then putting in the center a spray of fresh mint, or I've got a little bit of parsley here right in the center. Looks really super pretty. This is more like what I've seen in restaurants, and I love it. It's more of a flat plate of the kibbeh. Make a really nice design with the tip of the spoon. So I'm just coming down and around with the tip of my spoon on the top. And I have seen some really elaborate kibbeh designs. I think I want to go to kibbeh design school or something like that. But this then is the other just really pretty way. And always wanting to serve the kibbeh with a beautiful olive oil drizzled over top. You can put chopped onion, sweet onion, and even pine nuts, other spices, a little bit of mint on top, and that's all delicious. And the way we eat the kibbeh is with, of course, some bread, a little bit of flat bread. This is some really nice flat pita bread, and I'm just going to scoop up a little bite for me. Dan can have some in a minute. You want one, Dan?
Oh, I sure do.
I took mine first.
Let's see. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh,
He couldn't wait. Okay.
that's perfection.
If you want to learn how to make baked kibbeh nayeh, check out my next video for that. And then I hope you'll subscribe so that we can continue to cook Lebanese together.